Antibiotics. Hundreds of years ago, bacterial infections devastated communities, causing millions of deaths. For instance, the Black Death caused by the bacteria Yersinia pestis, which killed a third of Europe's population. Then came what is referred to as the dawn of the antibiotic age. In 1928, a bacteriologist named Alexander Fleming famously discovered the first antibiotic. Fleming noticed mould on one of his petri dishes was preventing the normal growth of the bacteria Staphylococcus. In 1945, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain successfully extracted and purified the mould juice, which was named penicillin. Deaths caused by bacterial infection became a thing of the past. Or have they? Antibiotics work by hindering the growth and reproduction of bacteria or by killing it outright. Unfortunately, in recent years, some bacteria have developed a resistance to antibiotics. Resistance develops when an antibiotic can no longer manage or kill the bacterial infection. Although antibiotic resistance occurs naturally over time, the overuse and misuse of antibiotics is speeding up the process. Overuse is when an antibiotic is prescribed but is not needed, such as for a cold or flu. Misuse refers to an incorrect antibiotic being prescribed, an insufficient dose, or duration of treatment. Figures in 2010 show Australia's use of antibiotics were very high compared to other countries. One of the bacteria that has become resistant to multiple drugs and is often referred to as a superbug is methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA. This bacteria is carried on the surface of the skin or in the nose of around a third of healthy people. Although harmless, if the bacteria enters the body, it can lead to many infections, some of them serious, such as bloodstream infections, pneumonia, and surgical site infections. These more serious infections are often acquired in hospital settings and are spread through patient contact and the unclean hands of healthcare providers. Remember Fleming's petri dish? Penicillin was an effective antibiotic to treat the Staphylococcus aureus bacteria. Unfortunately, the inappropriate use of penicillin, as well as other antibiotics including amoxicillin, methicillin, and even vancomycin, has led to the bacteria developing antibiotic resistance. In 2014, the World Health Organization stated, "The problem is so serious that it threatens the achievements of modern medicine. A post-antibiotic era in which common infections and minor injuries can kill is a very real possibility for the 21st century." The report stated people with MRSA are 64% more likely to die than those with a non-resistant strain of Staphylococcus aureus. The World Health Organization has developed a global action plan, which the Australian Government took part in developing. The Australian Government also developed its own plan to minimise the development and spread of antibiotic resistance, which included 7 objectives. 2 of those objectives were developing a national coordinated surveillance of antibiotic resistance and improving infection prevention control measures across healthcare settings to help prevent infections and the spread of resistance. The number of Staphylococcus aureus infection cases in Australian hospitals has reduced in numbers since the introduction of government measures. Implementations of practices, including the introduction of the National Hand Hygiene Initiative, have assisted with these numbers decreasing. A 2016 surveillance report showed compliance of hand hygiene amongst healthcare workers increased by 11.8%, while Staphylococcus aureus cases in hospitals decreased by 16.8%. Although numbers have reduced, the development of new antibiotics is slow. While government and healthcare workers are doing their best to reduce antibiotic resistance, it is important to consider how we as individuals can help the fight against superbugs. You can help by not asking for antibiotics if you don't need them. Remember, antibiotics have no effect on viruses like colds and flu. Take antibiotics as directed and only if they are prescribed to you. And practice good hygiene such as hand washing to help stop the spread of infection.
Created using Powtoon.